Hello, welcome back to the side quest. We have a problem game, a very big problem game. So, I spent the past few days thinking about how I want to tackle this. But before I talk about that stuff, why don't we introduce what's going on here? This is Yuuyu, no quiz day, go! And it's a quiz game by Taito. Yeah, the title says it way better than I could. Quiz day. So this is a game based on, as you can see from the box art, this is a quiz game for a Japanese songstress. She's part of like a group, an idol group. So it's a quiz game about an idol group. And that's fine. You know, if I had to do a ton of obscene research ahead of time, just because I don't know anything about this idol group. And I'm not sure if the questions directly relate to them or if they are a bunch of random things, because you're gonna see there's tons of different themes that you can pick and just all sorts of different stuff. There's also random mini games in here, but those are not a problem. So the problem we're facing, I actually went through this game on my own to try and figure out how I want to handle this. And there are credits at the end, so it is beatable. We're gonna show off the issue first, right? The issue is the language barrier. I tried getting my friend. I had to coax him in. I hope she doesn't bark too much. But yeah, as you can see, we can select the genre. I didn't look any of these up, so I don't know what these genres are. We can listen to this little fun song though. But this is it. I just hit start, so there's no menus or anything. You have a time limit to select the genre, otherwise it does it on its own. Now, the generous part about this game... Quiz day. Go! Alright, I'm gonna explain what's happening on screen. You can pause on this game infinitely. This is the generous part, and the nice thing is the music keeps playing. So let me go over the rules real quick. It's a multiple choice quiz show. You get a question at the top, you get four options to answer. You have to... Every answer you do is based on a percentage, so like if I get one right and one wrong, I'm gonna be at 50% right. If I get two right and one wrong, we're gonna be at 66. And your goal is to beat this elephant, who's at a predetermined number. He goes up to like 80 at max. And you can rapid fire answer questions. So for example, I'm just gonna like guess one. This is basically the game. Now, the more questions you answer, the greater the percentage differential, right? Damn, I just switched to 4. Anyway, we're gonna lose this one because I'll show you the other problem with this game. Now, my original idea, I can take a picture of this, right? I can print screen and then pause, and I could painstakingly translate. That's what I was gonna do if my friend was down to help me out, but he really didn't want to bother with a quiz game. He thought it was too much of a hassle, and I don't blame him. But with that, we're on our own, and I don't think it's realistic to translate all this stuff. That would take too long. It would be, you know, undeniably boring to watch, not that my videos tend to be entertaining. So, the next idea I had thought of is the way this game's system works. I'll explain that later. The next idea is, instead of translating this stuff, I could go through as many questions as possible, save a picture of that screen right here, because I can pause it when it circles the right answer. And then I would know, I could just pause and look up all these snapshots that I have and try and find the right answer. Oh no! Now, I imagine the game doesn't have that many questions, right? This right here is the problem with the game. If you fail, you actually have credits. You have 4 credits. Unless you just let it game over like that, so I figured I'd show off a game over. So, we have 5 credits, I guess, the 1 and 4 extras to get through this thing. Now, you need to win about 6 or 7 quiz shows and then play some random mini games to finish the game. It's really not hard. The problem is the language, though. And both of those ideas, like, translating it's gonna take too long, and it's, I don't want to sit here with the screen paused while I try to translate, because I don't know the language. I would be typing this all down in like gshow.org, and it would be a very slow process. That's why I normally translate off screen beforehand. Second idea is not very practical, because while I imagine there's only a limited amount of questions, so eventually we're gonna see repeats, right? And once I see enough repeats to win, we win. But there's tons of different categories that I'm gonna have to pick. So we would win one, like we would lose one a bunch of times until we finally have enough pictures to beat it. And then I'd have to do that for every other category. And that would take a while. Both of these options, though, lead to an inevitable victory. So, normally you guys know I don't like to use save states, but for this kind of a game, I'm gonna make an exception. Because one thing I don't have is, like, boundless amounts of time. I could put in the effort to do option 2. Option 2 is the most realistic thing. You see what the right answer is. Like, on this demo video, you can tell right there, it tells you what the X and the correct answer blinks. You just snapshot that, and then next time the question comes up, I'll know what the right answer is. But instead of going through that hassle, I figured, let's just get this game over with. I don't want it to be a wall that stops me from progressing on my quest for like a week or so, when it doesn't have to be. And I'm very confident that I could probably easily beat this game if I could just read the language. Some of these questions they ask like stats and stuff, and some of the themes, there's like an Egyptian theme and a gangster theme or city business based, so I don't think all the questions are based on this idol group. I think a lot of them are just generic questions in general. So, with all that said, we're gonna save state abuse. Now, while I'm save state abusing, I will mention the system of the game. You saw there's like a meter around the screen that's counting down. You also have a sand hourglass on the bottom. They're both kind of synchronized. You'll see what I mean. Alright, we're gonna be saving, but you see how it says start on the top right and now it's ticking down? By the time it hits that red, the timer will end. So we don't have to answer a ton of questions as long as we just get them correct. And you want to wait until it hits the red do it. This way you answer as few questions as possible. So if I did it the hard way, we could do this very same thing. And the reason why you want to wait, I'm gonna demo it at the end. But it's so you don't have to, you know, answer a whole bunch of questions. The more you answer, the more you need to get right. Granted, the less you answer, your percentage is lower. So we'll leave that one because it doesn't matter. I'm over 55. Sekai. So right here, I'll demo it. If you answer before it hits end, you get another question, and it goes on until the hourglass runs out. If you answer it when the end disappears, that's your last question. So, that's the general premise of the game. And you get those pretty cool looking sprites. So here's 4 new categories that you can choose. We'll just take the one on the top left. And we're gonna have to do this. Well, honestly, this game won't take long because we're cheating. It would take long if I wasn't cheating, but I think I'm gonna make an exception for all quiz show games. And there'll probably be a few more exceptions. I knew when I started this challenge we were gonna run into this problem. Quiz games. We had this problem before with the other one. Super Wagan Land had all those mini games and like Shiritori and stuff. These are going to be the most problematic games for me to do. And this is likely the solution I'll use for those games. So basically quiz shows, game shows, you know, like if there's a Japanese Family Feud or something. All of those kinds of games. We did pretty good on this one. All of those games I'm gonna likely resort to doing this. Because this just takes up an egregious amount of time. And I'm really surprised I got most of those right. You could call it intuition. Okay, so I don't know what she said there. Here's one of these mini games. So, I don't think you have to win these. Yo quiero. Damn, wrecked. I was the green one. All the buttons are listed on the bottom, what they do. They correspond to the, you know, the colored buttons on the SNES controller. And that game was different. Last time there was a game where we were both on like a mountain hill or volcano and we had to destroy a boulder before it hit our guy. And I forget what the other mini game was, honestly. We'll probably play through 2 or 1 more here as well. And the cool thing about this game, you get different music. The music is kind of good too. And your sprite changes. So you always have the elephant, which I guess is their mascot or whatever. But your avatar changes with the theme. So right now, I guess these are Greek theme, Greek questions. It's catchy. Right, and the other reason why I wanted to go through with this, I could have just skipped the game overall, but, you know, there's not footage of the game being finished on YouTube, so I want to, at the very least, be the guy who captures the footage. This way people can at least check out the game. And, if anybody knows Japanese, you guys can play along, I guess. Make your guesses and see how well you do. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit a button. That doesn't matter. Okay, it does matter. What was the... Okay, answer's 4. Yeah, you have to answer before the hourglass runs out. Okay, I answered too early there, so we had an extra one, but I guessed right. Yeah! And the more you answer, the more points you get if you care about high score. So 4 more categories, even though it's set up in the same way, like 2 by 2, they're all different. So we'll just stick with the top left. Do. Go! Quizu day! Okay, looks like we landed an Egyptian-themed quiz. Right, so seeing this kind of stuff makes me wonder if it really is all pertaining to this idol group. Sekai! But, yeah, I don't have too much more to add. Hopefully we don't have to abuse save states too often to proceed, but this is a lot faster than me actually learning the language. And while I would like to learn the language sometime, I want to do it properly. You know, I've been getting bits and pieces here and there, but nothing that, like, full-on learning yet. I at least haven't started to. I've signed up with, the website, what's it called? I forget the name of it. 360 Chris was the one that introduced me to the website. He was using it too to learn Japanese. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, as long as you're above the elephant, you go. And this is a mini game. Okay, so they have a ton of different mini games. I don't know how this one works. I guess I gotta feed them. Ooh. Okay. It's like WarioWare mini games. Wow, he just closed his mouth. Damn it. So it doesn't matter how good you do in this, it just gives you bonus points. Minigame is weird, man. I'm so glad I got to show this off. Most people probably don't even realize this is a thing. This is such a silly minigame. So, at least I have that joy. I do feel bad about using save states openly like this. I guess openly is not really the right word. Just using them at all. The main hook of the quest is to beat all these games on my own. I do think if I could read this text, I could probably answer these questions. Oh, did I answer that one way too soon? I did. Sekai. So yeah, we can chill. They're not synchronized to... Like, the red dots don't equate to the sand timer. I guess they're just markers for every 10 seconds or something. Sekai! Games are really good though. And the sprites look good too. Whoops. There we go. Hey. Oh, damn it. That's fine. You can tie him too, so I'm kind of glad I showed that off. You went on a tie. What is this? Okay, it's just another category, so stick with the top left. Let me get a sip of my drink. quiz day. Oh hey, we got this again. I had this last time. This is like, I don't know, I called it Gangster, or New York City Life, I guess. Sekai! Unfortunately, I've fallen on silence. There's not much more to say. It's a quiz game. The language barrier is strong with this one. Maybe someday I'll come to it again. If it didn't have credits, I would have just tried it out and lost, but unfortunately it had to have credits. So it needs to be beaten. Well, you know, for the terms of my side quest. And I guess overall I just didn't want to be stuck on this for a long time. So, like I said, we'll probably do this for all quiz show games and make an exception. Quiz shows, game shows that are only Japanese ones. Obviously, if it's in English, I'll beat it as intended. Yeah, and that's the end. So you like do 6-ish, I don't keep count, like 6 or 7 quizzes, 2 mini games, and I don't know what this is for. Oh. These I think, I'll reload that. These I think are choosing your like victory reward, and you can put your name in. We'll just, oh no, I just hit A, so we're no name. And then we're the new #1 score up there. I know because #1 starts at 50k. But I don't know how I'm gonna rate this game either. This is the credits screen. And this is the same from last time, so I don't know what those last 4 options are. But yeah, this is the reason why I decided to resort to save stating. So, I guess that's it. Thanks Taito for the quiz show experience. The game sounds nice, but you know, not much you can say about it. It's multiplayer. A multiplayer quiz show game, so that's kinda cool. I guess. I mean, it's not a bad game by any stretch. Just, it's a quiz game. Taito? I guess it's exceptionally cool if you like this idol girl too. I don't know why she's featured. I don't know what the deal with the elephants is either. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna reload that state. And we'll just try the other options and see if there's any differences. Just out of curiosity. So that just takes us to the name screen. I guess they all take you to the name screen. You guys might know what it says. I don't know what it says though. And this part is all the same. Huh, my state's not. Oh, there we go. Alright, so I'm gonna have to disable those shortcuts again so I can't accidentally state. Guess you can only have 4 characters in your name. Anyway, that does it for this. So, yeah. Sorry it's so short. It's the nature of the beast, right? But, like I said, I wanted to at least get the footage for this, and I wanted to move on so we're not just stuck here. for an indefinite amount of time. I mean, my logic is basically option 2 is the most realistic. Take the snapshots, and then once we start running into repeat questions, eventually I get it. Right? It's an inevitability that I beat this game. I figured I may as well just save the time and just state it. Because it's basically doing the same thing, only in a convoluted way when I'm saving all the questions down, but whatever. That's just my personal reasoning for it. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed checking out the game, because, I mean, it seems alright. And maybe I'll see you in the next video game. We're back to not quiz show things, so back to playing things normally. Hopefully for a very long time too. Based on what I can see, we shouldn't be dealing with something like this again for a while, at least. But we're probably gonna deal with something like this again. Anyway, I'm out of here. I hope you all have a good one.